Welcome, everybody, back to the Fire Talk podcast and YouTube channel. For today's episode is just going to be me and Chase, and we're going to be talking about the Giants series, which was a huge offensive surge. We got to see Manny Gore ball out, we got to see Joe Musgrove ball out, and we got to see two games where the offense put up 10 runs and then 8 runs also. So, fantastic game, fantastic series by this team, and a huge series win. So, really, really excited. Chase, for you, what were the big takeaways about this series?
One of the main takeaways was Will Myers is back. I mean, he's been hitting it. He had a bad last game, but he came around clutch in the first game with that double off the wall. He came back again today, had another clutch double. I mean, not really clutch, but he had another double, a couple of hits. Our outfield is starting to hit. Alzokar had a solid RBI. It looks like he might start getting more playing time than Grisham. It was important to see Manny Gore against what is technically a top-of-the-line lineup, and he did good. 6 innings. He could have gone a 7th, but I think they have him on a pitch count and maybe an innings count. Don't know which it is between those two. But he went 6 solid innings and only allowed 1 run. He did good. Joe Musgrove did good. Isaac's not here. Let me take the AirPod out.
Here, I can hop in here real quick. What you guys said.
All right, there we go.
All right, Isaac, how you feel about this sweep?
Well, sorry. What's up?
How do you feel about the sweep?
It was honestly, I'm a little surprised just because I knew the Padres had the pitching to be able to do it. They had a really good, they had the best starters going, but today was an ass kicking, which was kind of a surprise. But overall, the offense did really well. You saw them put up, 8 in the first game, and then 10 this game. And I mean, they only put up 2 yesterday, but we knew with Rodon that we weren't going to put up a lot of runs. Rodon's really only had 1 bad start, and it was against the Cardinals last week, I believe. So, I mean, very happy with the result, especially against the Giants, where we needed to gain some ground in the division. Right now, we're tied for first, I believe it is, with the Dodgers after the Dodgers lost today, and really exciting time for the Padres right now.
Yeah, I mean I saw that they've only lost 1 of their last 8 series. Now, one of them was the split with Cleveland, so it was like that 2 games, so kind of doesn't count because they didn't win it. But they've won 6 of their last 8, and then they tied that series. And honestly, they should have won. If you guys remember the game that they lost, it was just a bullpen meltdown. We've seen a few of those this year, but I think the bullpen will continue to get a little bit better. We actually posted a video earlier today about the Piggyback, and now Clev is hurt, so you're not going to see that. But I think they're going to use that sometimes, not use it other times. I did notice Rat Boy up here. He was talking about that Gore just looks too good, and that you can't take him out of the rotation. That's kind of how I feel. I think the only reason why they do that is because of an innings or a pitch limit or some type of thing for him this year. But in terms of Gore earning a spot, I would say in the rotation, yes, he normally would, but he's definitely earned kind of not being taken out and moved to the minor leagues, and rather move to the bullpen when they are trying to use it, keep him in that innings limit. So he's not going to leave the roster. I feel like that's pretty clear now. He has a 2.09 ERA right now, and his fastball is one of the best pitches in the sport. So I've been pumped about Gore. I feel like, it is unfortunate that Clev is going to be on the 15-day IL, but it's nice to see that you can have Manny Gore just kind of flawlessly step in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always knew he was going to be that starter. He was going to be that guy. And it was kind of disappointing to see him go to the bullpen. But with the Clev injury, you're just like, this is great. And this is what you need. You need him to go against these top-of-the-line teams. I know the Giants are struggling a little bit, but, they're still one of those guys or one of those teams that is always going to go out and succeed. They always sneak their way into playoffs. They always have a good playoff run. And it's important for a young rookie to face these guys. I mean, No Joe did his thing. Manny Machado continues to put up MVP numbers. I mean, what was the stat that was today? Manny Machado was
first player in MLB history to have, a triple, 3 doubles, a walk, and 3 runs scored. First player in MLB history to do that. I mean, he's the MVP right now. He's the NL MVP. There's no doubt about it. Going back to Manny Gore, what a beautiful game pitch today. Had a lot of run support, luckily. Everything looked good. His fastball looked beautiful. Everything looked good for him today. So, I mean, it wasn't just judging based off his stuff. It wasn't really a surprise that he dominated that lineup. Overall, really, the whole, except for Manaea, but Darren Ruff just got a hold of two mistakes from Mania. The whole pitching rotation was phenomenal. So, but back to Gore. It's going to be very hard to take him out of the starting spot, and we're going to see him start at least 2 or 3 more times with Clevenger on the IL. We've been saying this whole time that just because he got taken out of the rotation into the bullpen, he was going to make another start soon because of how many days the Padres were going to have to play in a row, and also because, injuries happen. Nonetheless, an injury happened. Gore was the next man up, and he absolutely proved why he should be the next man up. Now, in a lot of other rotations, he's one of the top guys. But right now, with how deep this Padres rotation is, now, like I said, his time will come in the future. But right now, he's going to replace Clevenger for a little bit, and he's going to keep taking rotations between bullpen and starter. There is an innings limit, but as for right now, he's going to keep being a starter, and it's really good to see.
So, quick question on that for you guys: do you think that Nabil Chrismat could potentially kind of be like not Clevenger's role, but be in Mackenzie Gore's role, and then Gore could start games, and then he could kind of piggyback him, and then they could still keep Snell and Martinez together? Or do you think that they're going to go about it a different way? Like, do you think that they could do something else, or maybe Snell would get his? I don't think Snell is ready to get his full game yet, because I still think it's going to take a while for him to get stretched out. But like, how do you think they're going to go about using the piggyback if there's no Clev?
They might keep it along with Gore. I don't think so, just because Gore has been so good. You don't want to necessarily have another pitcher tied down for 3 innings. That's really kind of where you would go with the piggyback. You would see how it goes. Because even the last game, it was either yesterday or the day before, they had Chris Mack come in. They had him go out into the 2nd inning. He got 1 out, but then I think allowed a double, and that's when they brought in Tim Hill. Like, it seemed like he was on a pretty short leash, so I don't think they want him going a lot of innings just in case, there's another injury that goes down, because then him and Martinez would move back into the rotation, and we would only have 1 long reliever, and that'd be Chris Matt. So I don't think they really want to do that right now. I think they're going to continue to use him maybe 1, maybe 2 innings, depending on how he does out in the 2nd inning. But I want the piggyback to come back, but right now you lost the starter. You probably want to keep the depth in the bullpen, because we've already lost multiple guys in the bullpens. He's been one of our most solid ones. I try to keep his role a little bit minimal so he can pitch in more high-leverage situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the bullpen's already depleted as it is. There was only like 6 guys in the bullpen today, maybe 7. So it's pretty tough to throw a regular bullpen arm into somewhat of a starter role. You can consider it piggyback. Still going 3 or 4 innings. He can't throw for another 2-3 days. So you got to keep him in that bullpen role. And the whole difference between this year and last year is that, we brought it up multiple times. The bullpen was having to throw 5-6 innings a game, whereas now they're only having to throw 2 or 3. And we brought it up in a past episode. This is going to be one of the freshest bullpens in baseball. So keeping a Bill Chrisman in a 1 or 2 inning role, setting him up for those future 2 to 3 inning roles is going to be pivotal for his success and the Padres' success. Overall, the bullpen's success, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Couple comments in here. So I see that news is just in that Nick Martinez is getting the start tomorrow against the Brewers, and then it's going to be Snell and Darvish. So like we're kind of talking about right now, it seems like they're not going to incorporate that, which would now make there be 6 starters. So they're going back to using 6 starters for a while. It's been interesting how they've decided to like switch up between using the 6-man rotation and then doing the piggyback. But I do like it, and I do think it's made a lot of sense when we're looking at I don't know, like who's there, like who's healthy. When Clev's gone, that's kind of how you make the adjustment. So interesting to see that. And then Gil also says that according to Mad Friars, the Padres are planning to use Morrighan in 1 inning roles. That is something that we've been wanting to see for a long time. So Chase, I know that you've been kind of begging for Morrighan in that role. So how you feeling?
I'm incredibly excited. We've always mentioned, or I mentioned it last year before he got hurt, it's about 60 innings for him, and then he usually has an arm injury. Last time it was an elbow, but most of the times it was his shoulder, like a shoulder impingement, shoulder fatigue, something around that area. And it was about every 60 innings when he was in the minor leagues. Didn't want him to start. He got hurt in his first or second start last year, and was really bummed. It was Tommy John. We've seen what his stuff does at the major league level. He's got the wipeout slider. He's got that nasty knuckle change. if you can throw him out there 1 inning in a high leverage situation, he's going to strike out the side. He's got the stuff to do so. So, I mean, we could have our Josh Hader and Morrighan. He's really young. I know everyone says, he has the potential to be an ace. However, we've seen what happened with Lamet. He's had very similar arm problems, and it just continued to happen and happen again. You don't want to do that to the young kid. We saw what happened with Anderson Espinoza, who, probably after the second Tommy John, probably should have put him in a reliever role and, helped his career. But, he's been plagued by injuries, and I don't want to see him go down that path. Plus, we really need a setup man, like 2 setup mans. We have Luis Garcia, but he's, hit and miss. He's either been lights out or what happened last game. I mean, he struck out, or he got the first 2 guys out, let up a single, and then walked 2, and then gave up a couple runs for the Giants to tie the game. We really need another solid setup man that, can take that role and thrive. We have Steven Wilson, but he's overused. We just need a fresh arm for him.
I see this comment talking about why did the Padres organization cheat and trade injured players? The Twins knew he was injured. The whole league knew he was injured. But other than that, going back to Adrian Morrighan, yeah, I completely agree with Chase. You want to kind of limit his innings, but he's throwing 90. Is he the one throwing 98, 99, or is it Castillo? It's him, right?
Both of them.
Yeah, so they're both going down there pumping. It's a good thing that we got 3 or 4 guys coming in. It sucks that they're all lefties. If only there was at least 2 righties. But
we got Michelle Baez.
Jesus Christ. No way. Like I said, 3 lefties. But yeah, so I mean, this bullpen's going to be really good. Unfortunately, we have to wait for like another month or so. But Chase and I were talking about it regarding the setup, man. We're like, Garcia's so hit and miss. Like, he comes in, maybe he'll have a good inning, but that's not someone you really want in a setup role, right? I mean, he's way too hit and miss to have in that role. And it's not like you have to punish him from that role permanently. Like, he can be in there every once in a while. He has good stuff. He has a good slider. But, I mean, sorry, I'm trying to read the comments. Sorry. I'm trying to remember what I was trying to say. I was talking about
not punishing him.
Yeah, you don't got to take him out of the setup role completely, but having different guys in that setup role and finding someone that can really establish themselves in that role, because he's good. He's not the kind of guy that I want there every time in that setup role. So we've talked about maybe needing bullpen owners, but we're going to get reinforcements. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we trade some lower level prospects for. I'm not saying we need like a top tier bullpen owner. We just need someone decent because it'd be an upgrade over a lot of the guys in the bullpen right now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is going to depend on who comes back too. Like, I don't know. In my opinion, you have a lot of arms that are potentially coming back. If Castillo and Morrighan come back, you might not need to trade for someone, but you could. Hey, Chase, when we switch off, let's keep muting because it's echoing, I think. Yeah. Also, I see that you guys see Jake in the comments. He's messing with you guys. Jake is one of my buddies who's a Twins fan. He knew about the trade. We talked about it because he immediately asked me when the trade went through, hey, what are up with these guys? I said, well, one of the guys is probably going to get Tommy John because, he's been injured, so we don't know about that. And he's like, oh, great. So he's screwing with all of us right now. He knows. He knows the truth. He's just trolling over here. But yeah, I see people are pretty hyped right now. I mean, I completely agree. I mean, let's see. We got Ace says we don't even have Tatis. Fat Sal says drop it like it's hot. A bunch of flyers for the Pods. We just swept the Giants. I mean, this is an impressive sweep. I know the Giants. I don't think they're as good as they were last year. I definitely think they're going to be a couple steps behind. But still, I mean, they're still like fighting for a playoff spot. Likely going to be a playoff team. Likely going to be a wild card team. And when you look at the landscape of what the NL is, Padres right now are the second best team, and they're behind the Dodgers in the entire NL by half a game. And yes, the schedule has been pretty much cake, but they're also just coming off of a road stretch that was supposed to be the first real test of the season, and they won what? They went 7-2. Is that right? 7-2 on this road stretch that I think we talked about. We said we would be happy if they went 5-4, just because it was a difficult stretch. Like, that would be a success. So looking at it right now, I mean, this has been a really, really good team to start. I'm pretty pumped about it. I mean, I feel like all Padre fans right now, we should be real happy with it. Padres are undefeated when Musgrove is pitching. Yeah, I mean, Musgrove has been an absolute animal. So I got to ask you guys, how much do you think he's increased his value this early on? It's got to be ridiculous, right? I know we talked about it recently, but it feels like every single start, it's like toss a couple million on the board.
I'd probably say at least 15 million, at least another 15 million on his contract, just because.
Total, right?
Yeah, another total, not per year. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
But dude, at least another 15. Every time he's gone out, it's he's throwing 7 innings, maybe 1 run, 2 runs at most. Strikes out more than 9 per 9 innings. Doesn't walk anybody. He just is confident. He's been a rock throughout the entire rotation the last 2 years. He's just been phenomenal. There's no other way to say it.
And his stuff looks even better than it did last year. His slider looks even better. Everything looks better for him. Hitting his spots consistently. Everything about Joe Musgrove is better than it was last year. So he's been fantastic. It's been super fun to watch, especially because, we all love him. And what sucks is that we know he's going to have to get paid. We know that. So I think his value's increased by a good 2 to 3 million per year. Granted, I still think he would take 20, but the way he's pitching right now, it's hard for me to argue he should only have 20. He should only get 20 per year annually, where he could easily get 22, 23 because he's been so damn good. He is the ace. And every time he's on the bump, he consistently gets all these strikeouts, and he's just been so damn good. Much better than – and he was great last year. He just looks so much better than last year. So, I mean, that's awesome.
I feel like when I'm looking at Musgrove, I feel like there's a chance that the Padres are all right, we will offer you 5 years, $100 million, and another team's gonna go hey, we will offer you 6 years, $150 million, and it might be that big of a difference. I know everyone wants him to take the hometown discount and stuff, but I'm just hoping that the dude continues to ball out for his time here, and I really, really hope he does stay on the Padres after the season. But I feel last year he brings the epic moment. This year, could he have a Cy Young year? Maybe. He's up there right now. The only other guy that I'm thinking that's kind of pitched as well as him in the NL is who? Probably Pablo Lopez, right? That's about the only other guy. So, I mean, he's up there. He's been excellent. So, if they continue to win and he continues to be that ace, that top guy, I think that maybe he could be in that competition. And even if it was only a 2-year stint in San Diego, which I really, really hope it's not, having a no-hitter and being in the Cy Young race for those 2 years is something that's really, really special, and probably, that's his dream growing up. So it's been really cool to see that unfold, and I think all of us like Joe Musgrove a lot. Chase, I know you've talked about getting a Musgrove jersey, but a question I have right now is, if we had to rank the rotation, this is one I was just thinking of earlier. If we had to rank the rotation right now, let's say there's four playoff arms, and then 2 of the guys you'll say you come out of the bullpen as that role where they come in and pitch 2-3 innings in the playoffs. Who would be your 1 through 4, and then who would be the 2 bullpen guys that you would rock with?
This is with a healthy club? Okay. Probably start off 1 Clev. Actually, no, 1 Musgrove, 2 Clev. The way Gore's been pitching, he deserves a spot, so probably 4. Depending on how Darvish is, I'd put probably Darvish at 3, and then Gore at 4.
I think what's so good about how deep this rotation is, you can kind of play the matchups.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, if we're not going matchup based, I'm probably going Musgrove, Snell, Darvish. Man, I don't know. This is really tough. You're going to see them all get a start. I think this Padres rotation is so deep to where it's okay, they don't actually have to go 3 guys in the playoffs. Of course, you want your 3 best guys, but all these guys are so damn good. Where, Chase put Gore, and that's absolutely understandable. I'd put him in the bullpen just because, a lot of these guys, they have playoff experience. And, I mean, I think that's important. I don't think that whole veteran experience and stuff, I don't care about that. Playoff experience, being in the moment, I do think that is important. But, yeah, I don't know. That's really tough for me to answer. So I guess I would have to go Musgrove is a must. Going off right now would be Musgrove, Manaea, Clevenger, Darvish.
You're taking out big game Snell?
Surprisingly. Just going off right now. I just want to see what goes on later in the season.
I feel like for me, I see a couple here. I think I might go with the same one that Adino went with. He said Joe, Darvish, Gore, Clev. It's hard. I think so. I think I would go. I'm thinking like just off of recent. I mean, you're gonna have to go Darvish too. I don't know. I kind of want to put. I feel like Gore's been the second. See, like I think Gore's been the second best guy, but in the playoffs, I feel like it's a little bit different. So, I think that what we'll see will be Musgrove, Darvish, Snell, Clev. That's what I think we'll see. What I do think that Gore should probably be in there, and then depending on how Clev and Snell have looked, just because we have seen them come back, we haven't really seen them yet. I think it would depend on those two guys to get that final spot. But the way that Darvish is pitching, he's had a couple rough outings, but besides that, he's been phenomenal. They're not going to not start him. That's just not going to happen. And then Musgrove, of course, deserves it. But like, Gore's been that dude. I forget who it was. I forget who it was in the chat, but someone commented earlier that he has a lower FIP than Musgrove right now. Like he's been that level of a pitcher. But it would be kind of crazy to put Mackenzie Gore in a rotation instead of a Mike Clevenger or a Blake Snell. Like that is pretty crazy as a rookie to put him in there. But I think that just speaks to how good Mackenzie Gore's looked. So I would have to put Mackenzie Gore in it right now. And then I'd have one of Clever or Snell in the bullpen, and Martinez as well. So that's probably what I would look at. But I feel like it's tough. And I also feel like in the playoffs, there's a chance that we see a piggyback utilized often, where you have two of those guys, and if one of them looks good and he goes a decent amount into the game, and the other guy comes in for relief, depending on how he looks, he might keep pitching a couple other innings and end up going through that whole lineup at least one time. Where depending on how you look, that could be close to 3 innings, or that could even be 3 innings. So, having these guys being able to come in and piggyback guys, especially when the bullpen hasn't looked that good right now, it also answers some questions then. So it'll be fun to see how it plays out. I see some people talking about Martinez pitching tomorrow. So let's preview this Brewers series a little bit. I know last year the Padres played the Brewers pretty early on in the year, and the Padres they started out hot last year. The difference was there was not the pitching depth of this team. That's why I have a lot higher expectations this year. But when we're looking into another early series against the Brewers, last year this was one, and I remember this one really clearly because people got really mad in the comments. But Chase, you were like, "Yeah, I think we're gonna get swept this series. I think we're gonna get swept in this one," and you're like, I hope we don't, but I think we will. And then the Padres ultimately got swept in that series. So, how do you guys feel about the matchup this time around against the Brewers? They are leading their division right now, I believe. They've been a really good team. I don't know if we're gonna see Corbin Burnes right now, but how do you guys feel about that matchup? And how do you feel about Martinez, Darvish, and Snell getting the bump on the bump against them?
I think we're gonna do fine. I don't think we're gonna sweep. I think there's a chance we lose this series. Realistically, I think we're gonna win 1 or 2. I really think it depends on if Martinez has his stuff and if Snell has a decent outing. I mean, if Snell has a decent outing and doesn't do what he did his last outing, we have a shot at winning. I mean, we're still down Tatis. Our offense is still hot and cold. We had an explosion today. Hopefully that continues to go over to the next series. Myers has been hitting. Machado's been hitting. Hosmer's in a little bit of a slump. Nola got a couple of hits. Kim's been killing it too. So if those guys can continue hitting, then we have a shot. But I know the Brewers have a pretty heavy rotation too. So it's going to be a close series, but I think we take 2.
We are seeing Burnes on Tuesday. Who's going to be at that Tuesday game? I'm going to be at that Tuesday game. I really wanted a bobblehead, so I needed to go. It's Manny Machado bobblehead night, so you should go if you can. But yeah, I believe we are going to see Burnes on Tuesday. I also think we might only take 1, but that's okay considering how much this Padres team has been winning, especially on the road. They've been doing things that this Padres team would not have done last year. This team loses that game, that first game against San Fran, they would have lost last year. Oh, yeah. I almost guarantee they would have lost the one from yesterday too. But this team it just feels a lot different. I do think we'll take 1. They've been playing better on the road than at home, I believe. So hopefully we take 2. But realistically, who is it? I think we might lose the Martinez start. I think we might lose the Snell start, and I think we'll win the Darvish start.
Darvish is he's on Tuesday, right? It goes Martinez, Darvish, Snell, or is it Martinez, Snell, Darvish?
Snell on Tuesday.
So it's Snell against Burns on Tuesday. So I think this is a good spot to pitch Snell because either you get really good Snell and Snell balls out, or you get Snell pitched real bad. We lost to Corbin Burns. Oh, we were probably gonna lose to Corbin Burns anyways, but still worth it if it's bobblehead night, right? Also, this is another one of the tests of the home away splits for Blake Snell, who last year was like a sub 1.5 ERA guy at home, and then was atrocious on the road. So maybe we'll see him ball out. That'd be awesome. Especially after the first start, being pretty rough. It probably will take him a little longer to kind of get going. I mean, it's kind of been a thing that's probably going to be the case this year, just with him rehabbing and coming back from injury. But I don't know. I feel like that's the one to pitch him in, right? Who's Wednesday for the Brewers? Do we know that?
Ashby.
Okay, so probably have the advantage with Darvish there.
Oh, someone said Ashby in the comments. Oh, so it looks like it will be Lauer.
Lauer? Oh. Lauer's been good, too.
Lauer's been balling
Lauer's
out.
been really good. Yeah, that'll be a fun one as well. So, I mean, the Brewers team is good. Also, I don't know if you guys have seen, but Hunter Renfroe has 9 bombs and is slugging over 500 right now. Hunter Renfroe is actually playing out of his mind. And last year was probably his career year, too. I always liked Hunter Renfroe. Now you look back on the trade, it was, I believe, was he in the trade for Pham and Cronenworth, right? Yeah, so, I mean, it ended up working out. Cronenworth has been real solid. Got to see him get a couple hits today. Now, one of them was off, I forgot who it was, the position player that came in the 9th. But I don't know. I feel like hopefully we get to see Crone heat up. That's a guy I think that we're rooting for a lot. Let's see. What else we got in the comments here? So, sweep, then get swept. I don't know. I think the Wednesday game is definitely one that the Padres should win. Burns has not won a game since April 19th. Wow. He's really been struggling this year then. Or maybe not. Maybe the Brewers have no offense. I haven't really kept up with the Brewers. Have you guys kept up with Corbin Burns and how he's been pitching?
He has a 2.27 ERA.
So it's lack of offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so
Ex-Padres are going to kill us. That's all I know. Urias has always done well against us. We'll see how Renfroe does, but I think they're going to have some revenge games.
I hope not. I freaking hope not. Especially not on Tuesday, bro. I hate going to games and losing. It's the most annoying thing.
How do you think that felt?
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine on a walk-off. I would be pissed. I went to that Tuesday one where Gore started. Oh, my God. I wasn't too mad, but I was mad for a good 30 minutes. Yeah, so hopefully I don't think they're going to win this series, but they put themselves in a really good position winning all these games. And a lot of people were saying, man, the Padres are going to have a tough road schedule. They're going to have a tough schedule from here on out. They don't care. They go up against any team with all of their starting pitchers. And this is honestly, you look at from top to bottom, we said it before the season started, this will be a top 5 rotation in baseball. Even if the numbers don't prove that right now, I think they're like 7, 6, maybe 8, 6 through 8, one of those. They've been pitching phenomenally. Even you hear all the commentators talk about it. Man, this Padres rotation, they've been carrying them. But the thing is, the Padres have been putting up runs too. Everyone's saying, oh, the offense needs help. It doesn't look like it.
They need help. Don't deny it.
No, bro. This team, this offense.
We need an outfielder.
Oh, no, yeah. We were talking about it. We need an outfielder.
We need offense.
We need an outfielder, which is okay. It's only one spot, luckily. When Fernando gets back, everything's going good for this Padres team. Timely hitting, great pitching, and great defense is the best recipe in baseball. And that's exactly what they're doing right now.
Yeah, I saw someone commented earlier that the defense has just been so good, and today you saw a couple plays where, dude, Profar. Also, we gotta look into this. You know how Profar went to the DR with Fernando, right? This offseason, dude. What does Fernando Tatis Sr. teach these guys when it comes from throwing a baseball? Because he threw super hard.
He had a cannon too.
Profar was a noodle arm second baseman, and now he is the best guy at throwing guys out from left field in the league right now. He has just been insane. I know today he didn't throw someone out, but he he bombed it in second base. It was a great throw. Like his arm looks completely different, and even than last year when he was playing in the outfield, like it looks like just a complete change. And we've seen that like Fernando has a cannon too. Now he did have a bunch of throwing errors last year when he didn't really have his feet under him and his shoulder was all jacked up. He had a ton, but like we've still seen Fernando make some incredible throws. We've seen him throw 96 across the diamond. So like it's just insane. Whatever he does as like a workout like routine or whatever works phenomenally because that's definitely helped a ton. I see we're probably gonna hop off here in a second, so we'll go. We'll do a couple things here real quick. Okay, I see Ace over here is talking down on Cronenworth. Do you guys see this? Saying that Crone sucks. Ace, what is this?
But he does not suck.
I was looking at his advanced numbers. Dude, most of his stuff isn't that bad, except for he's just something. That's what it looks like. If you look at his numbers, most of the things are like around where he is, and then his expecting batting average and stuff like that is just like a lot lower. But he's been susceptible to big slumps in the past. Each season, last year and in 2020 in the short season, he had big slumps in both those years. It's just this is the first time he's had it to start out the year. So I don't think there's that much to freak out about. He's still around a 650 OPS, like with hitting barely over 200. He's walking the same rate that he usually walks at. He's not chasing a lot of pitches. Like, I'm not too concerned. I expect him to come back. He's still a great fielder. He's still, I don't know. I'm just not too worried about it, with him. But I feel like that's the final guy we can kind of end it on because I feel like he could be a guy that if he gets hot and you get Fernando back and say a Luke Voigt gets hot or say, Myers kind of gets a little hot, like, okay, then your lineup's going to look a lot better. And you guys brought up the outfield. I'll also say, I mean, the catcher spot doesn't look too pretty from an offensive standpoint, but Alfaro's been a really solid backup catcher. And while Nola has struggled, he's been great defensively, so at least you have that. I know a lot of people are like, look, if you get offense out of your catcher, it's just kind of a plus, but it would be nice to see Nola get hot for a while and get his average and on base up because I don't think he's ever going to slug or hit for a lot of power. But I don't know. What do you guys think on the chances on a couple of these guys kind of having a little bit of bounce backs and first off being Cronenworth?
He will come around. He always does. I'm not too worried about Cronenworth. My main concern would be Luke Voigt. He just doesn't look good at the plate. We were talking about it earlier, ironically. You want to guess what he's striking out, how much he's striking out, like the percentage? Would you like to guess?
Do the numbers. 44%.
It was the whole team?
No. Luke Voigt.
I thought you said the whole team. It cut out. I was like, "There's no way."
No. Luke
44%
of the time. Yeah, it was bad. He thought it was gonna be like 33. I'm like, dude, no, I think it's gonna be more than that. And I was like, he has 32 strikeouts and 72 at bats before today's game.
Yeah, so he's definitely him and Grisham are easily the guys that you got to worry about. I don't know why. I don't feel like worrying about Jake Cronenworth is warranted over his first 500 plus at bats, whatever it is, maybe a little lower. He was a 4-1 player. He's one of the best hitters in baseball. I mean, and then 100 at bats later, I think a lot of people were just down on him. And I mean, I brought it up before when Fernando comes back. It's gonna help. It's gonna help not only the whole lineup, but especially Jake. Jake gets pitch protection. He gets more fastballs. He sees a lot better pitches when Fernando's in the lineup. I think that whenever Fernando was out last year, I always thought, "Oh man, this is gonna hurt Jake." It hurt Jake. I thought it did. So, yeah, he's gonna come around, especially when Fernando comes back. I think his plate appearances, his at bats are still really good at bats. He's still swinging at balls in the zone. He rarely chases. You look at his chase rate; it's really good. K percentage, I thought it was gonna be high. I don't know if it's high or not. I think it's like middle, but his plate appearance is still good. His at-bats are still really nice. So it's going to come around. He's going to come around. He's still a great hitter. He just needs – I think something that's kind of affecting him is his launch angle. And, everybody praises launch angle. Of course, that's a new way of baseball, but it's way higher than it's ever been. I don't think he's playing to his strengths. We talked about it with even Eric Hosmer, but Eric Hosmer is 6-something. Oh, he's supposed to be like a monster. He should be hitting bombs. That's not Jake's game. I don't think Jake's playing to his strengths right now, and I think when that happens, when he starts being that gap-to-gap hitter that we know, hitting these line drives, absolutely demolishing off speeds down and in the zone, you're gonna be really happy not trading Jake Cronenworth or buying in on Jake Cronenworth still.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but I don't know. I think that's probably all we got for today. I want to thank you guys all for hopping on. It's been real fun. But I think that we're going to see a couple of these guys start to improve. I still do think that an outfield that is absolutely necessary. As rumors and that stuff comes around, like the Juan Soto one this week, we'll continue to talk about that kind of stuff. But I mean, in terms of talking about this team right now, it's a lot of fun. It's been super fun to watch this team early on. But I think that's going to do it for today's episode. So thank you guys all for listening, and we'll talk to you all very soon.